All right, now we're going to move on into chapter 8 and talk a little bit more about how do we do this? What's the syntax for writing classes? How do we do it logistically and so forth? Okay, so let's start with the syntax for writing a class. You guys, I hope remember that syntax means what are the words we have to use to make the program do something? What do we have to type? So when we're writing a class, here is a listing from the book, listing 8.3, the syntax for a processing class. Let's point out the parts that are important here. First of all, the class keyword indicates that this is a class definition, just like the for keyword indicates that this is a for loop, or the if keyword indicates that this is an if statement. Class says that what follows is a class. Remember that we have a naming convention for class names. We start with an uppercase rather than a lowercase letter, and then we use camel case as we go forward. So in this particular situation, this is a generic piece, but this would be class name with capital C, capital N. If you remember, or if you go back and look at the code for the four-song MP3 player, then the class song was an uppercase S in its name. The class's body is enclosed in curly brackets, an opening one up here and ending one down there. And so if you forget the ending one, you're going to have a syntax error, so we have to be careful with that. And remember, the trick is that whenever you start an opened curly bracket, end it with the closing one right away, and then you won't have to worry about forgetting them. Also, take advantage of the auto formatting capabilities so that you can, everything is formatted correctly, and then when something looks fishy formatting wise, then you can surmise that I've forgotten a curly bracket someplace. Okay, so this is our processing, or our syntax rather. In our style convention, we will start with the fields of the class up at the top. So there's no real necessity to do that. It's just good programming practice so that my class is organized like a UML class diagram. So I'll put the fields first in the class, then I'll have my constructors, and remember that constructors are for setting up the fields when an object is made, and then we list all the other methods of the class after that. And note that these method declarations look just like the methods that we've been writing so far, right? Like void setup or void draw, except that they're inside a class, so they're indented a little bit. But otherwise, the convention is the same. Also note that there is a requirement here on constructors, that constructors don't have a return type, not even void. So nothing is specified over here as a return type when we write a constructor. All right, so let's take a look at our mosh pit example that's in the text. Okay, and so the idea is that this is a virtual mosh pit where people are slamming into each other and enjoying music somehow that way. So let's take a look at this. I'll show you the running part, and then we'll go through our design. So once the song gets loaded,
Yeah, it is.
you see that they sort of move based on the amplitude of the sound, and they ping off each other, bounce off the walls, etc. as the song is playing. Okay, so that's going to be where we go from there. We're going to go through the Radius design process for that mosh pit, and just sort of think about how we go through and design that program.